Richmond Raceway, this beautiful 3/4 of a mile track situated in Richmond, Virginia, getting set to go running here for the 5th round of the Season 2 of 2021 for the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series. Hello and welcome one and all. I'm Miller Rempel with Al Kozlowski beside me in the commentary box. Bob Melnick, once again sitting behind the cameras for today's race. We're getting set to go racing for an incredibly, hopefully what will be an exciting 200 laps of racing here. Smaller field size, again, to be expected at this point in time, but hopefully it'll be a good race nonetheless. We all know how short track races can be. The Martinsville race just last week was certainly a thriller to behold as well. So, well, Al, listen, we're just about to wrap up with qualifying here. Just 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, knowing this is Richmond, short track, and not too many people like it, so we won't have a lot of participation in this. We're going to have a pretty small field. Looks like we have roughly, eight drivers tonight. So we're just going to watch and see who kind of dominates. My money is going to be that we're going to see one driver just take this field and walk away with it. So let's see how it rolls.
Just a few seconds left on the clock. Let's take a swing on over here to the national anthem.
Drivers, start your engines!
The national anthem has been sung. We're just about set to go racing here for 200 laps around this beautiful 3/4 of a mile short track here in Richmond, Virginia. Let's take a rundown through your starting grid. Clayton Hoffman starts on the pole. 3/10 behind is Kenny Powell starting in the front row. Greg Wyszynski, Randy Drumhiller round out 3rd and 4th. Greg Johnson rounds out the top 5. Wayne Grossi is in 6th. Josh Schofner is in 7th. Chris Johnson is in 8th place. The bottom 3 drivers not setting times for today's race here, Al.
Yeah, we have, like I said, a very small field today. We're having some conflicts with scheduling to get some drivers in here, and we're working on fixing that right now so we can get this field back to a 20-plus strength field here. So right now, we're just going to run with 8 cars and see who finishes. We may finish this race with 5 cars. Who knows? But let's get this underway here. We got Clayton Hoffman's going to lead the field out, and Kenny Powell's going to be on the outside of him. The outside line here, Nolan, can be extremely fast if you know how to drive it. Let's see who works this out. Who works that outside line tonight?
2 pace laps here on the docket instead of the usual 1 that we're so used to seeing. So these guys are going to take 2 trips around here. That 92 car does look incredibly strong, but surprisingly not at the top of the point standing. You kind of take a look over to the point standings. Even though he's made all 4 races so far in this Cup Series, he is still 2nd place in the points, but only 5 behind points leader Brian Johnson in the number 4 car, who, has not made the race today. So that means that Clayton's closest competitor is only 2 points behind him, and that's Craig Johnson, who is in this race.
Yeah, Craig Johnson in that 83 machine has been shown the last 2 weeks to be very competitive. He has got his stuff together here, and let's see how he runs in this race.
Just one more pace lap to go, 3/4 of a mile before things get underway here. The start-finish line here is a bit unusual. It is significantly further back in the tri-oval than it really is on any other oval that we've seen. So that kind of makes a very unique precedent of how important turns 3 and 4 are, and the runoff of 4 doesn't matter as much. So we could see some dive bomb moves into 3 if things are still nice and close by the time we get around to the checker flag. For now, though, it will be in the hands of Clayton Hoffman, who's going to have to wait on that iRacing starter as the pace car takes the field down through turns 3 and 4 for the final time today before we get things underway. Now the pace car down to pit road, now waiting on that 92 car as he waits for the race start. Green flag flies. We are off and away and racing in Richmond.
Yeah, just like we watched previous week here, we're going to watch this turn 1 and 2. This is where a lot of these drivers on this fresh tires can get a little impatient. We're like, Kenny Powell went on the high side there, and he's got some company on the inside. If he can make this work, the driver on the inside there trying to get around him is going to have to keep it down there, and they're using up more tires than Kenny Powell is on that high side. Did you see the drive off Kenny Powell in the second place is getting off that high line as he cuts down right in front of third place? And we've got the 50 car going on the inside of 83 here, and he's getting loose. This is really hot. These tires are really not used to this, so they've got to calm it down a little bit in order to finish this thing.
The top 3 is single filed out. The first battle in the back is between Wayne Grossi and Craig Johnson, battling for the last position inside the top 5 on the racetrack. Chris Johnson just behind these guys, looking to potentially capitalize as well as Craig Johnson backs out big time to avoid running into the wall. So now we're single filed out all the way out throughout the entirety of the 8-car grid so far today. Wayne Grossi does pick up the 5th position, but now he's got Chris Johnson at the 48 car, hounding him just behind.
Yeah, tire preservation is a good thing here. It doesn't eat up as much as it does at other tracks here, but you gotta really watch it. I don't know if we're gonna. Wow, Chris Johnson just keeps bouncing off that wall, and that damage will hinder his driving ability most definitely. The dirty air. When I raced this race this week, the dirty air played a huge factor in this thing. So the leader has got a great benefit right now. He doesn't have to worry about having any kind of disability on the driving side. It's Chris Johnson in the 48 goes to the inside of, it's like Wayne Grossi in that 7 and does a clean pass there. He's moving his way to the front.
Grossi attempting on trying to fight back here on Chris Johnson. Down in the turn 1 they go, excuse me, but look at the drive that Johnson didn't get off the corner. He is just so much better than Grossi is off of those straightaways. So brilliant drive there for Chris Johnson, puts himself securely in the 5th position. He's now trying to run down Josh Shafman, but even if he gets past that 50 car, it is a long way up the road to Greg Wyszynski.
Yeah, he just has to be consistent. Consistent. As Josh Shafman is just running his line and minding his own business, not really driving out that rear view mirror. And that's where consistency is going to play off. And that's going to be the tire preservation that they're going to need for this race.
Now Johnson down the inside of Josh Shafman into turn number 1. The 50 car trying to fight back, but no dice for Josh Shafman. He will have to give up the position here to Chris Johnson. So that puts Johnson up to 4th now. So his run up to the front is continuing to improve nicely.
Well, he is just 1/10 of a second slower than the leader. I mean, he's running consistent laps with the leader. Let's see how he's running comparative to the 2nd and 3rd place.
Well, from what I've been able to tell, still a bit slower.
Faster. No, it looks like he's faster than 2nd place by about 2/10 and almost 2/10 faster than 3rd place. I mean, he's running pretty fast laps right now. He's going to need to whip it up a little bit more. He's got a big 2-second deficit between him and 3rd place Greg Wyszynski.
Clayton Hoffman, meanwhile, has been able to supremely gap the field already 2.7 seconds ahead of Kenny Powell, who's running in that 2nd position. So you got Hoffman running up on his own, then you got Powell in 2nd, Wyszynski 3rd. From there on back, it's a train of 5 round of the field with Johnson, Shafman, Grossi, Drumhiller, and the other Johnson rounding out the remainder of the order today. So already 11 laps down, still about 189 more to go, but very clean start so far to this 200 lap event.
Yeah, I think the only competitor Clayton Hoffman's going to have right now is that 48 machine because he's running pretty consistent lap times. I'd say that, but he got a little squirrely there on that last run. Looks like he's pushing a little bit, so he might have used up his equipment trying to get past Josh Shafman and Wayne Grossi.
Second place is starting to close in as well, with Greg Wyszynski trying to reel in Kenny Powell in the 24 machine. Looks like the pair of them might be here to battle here just a couple moments time. The gap is just about half a second, but it's continuing to grow from Clayton Hoffman, who's now got a 4-second gap on that 24 car. But it looks like the fight for second here might be picking up here in a few moments.
Well, if it does, that 48 machine is going to capitalize on it because he is closing on second and third extremely fast. Chris Johnson is showing a little bit of wiggle on that rear end, but some drivers say that loose is fast, and I think I tend to believe it here because he's working his way through this field. I don't know if he's got enough time or enough speed to catch up to the leader, but he definitely has enough to get second or third here.
But things still running pretty much green for the most part. Let's take a quick step away here. We'll give a shout out to the sponsor, ButtKicker, here for the series, and we'll be right back.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com. And be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Second place is looking mighty close here out. You got Kenny Powell still out there in the second position. Wyszynski still in third, holding steady. But look at Chris Johnson trying to rock it up here in fourth to claim some spots on the podium.
Yeah, Chris Johnson has got a very fast hot rod underneath him there, but he's now in dirty air. So he's finding it pretty hard to get up here past Greg Wyszynski. He's hoping that Greg will make a mistake and wiggle a little bit, and that'll give him the momentum he needs to get past him. But Greg is not going to give that up too easily. He's running his line. He's not racing out of that rearview mirror, and he's just clicking laps down. We've already got 22 laps in, which is extremely good. If we can knock this out on the green flags, we'll have some green flag pit stops, and this thing will be over in about an hour and 15 minutes.
So Chris Johnson still trying to hound down that 2 car for the final spot here in the podium. Already over a tenth of the way through this race. That just shows you how quickly time can fly by when you're watching an event like this. Wyszynski's still trying to close into Kenny Powell. Powell in that 24 car is doing a really great job at making sure he's being nice and consistent and keeping way out in front of Wyszynski to the point where the 2 car doesn't have anything for him.
Yeah, Chris Johnson is going to have to switch his line up because staying right behind Greg is going to put that dirty air. So he's going to either have to go high when Greg Wyszynski's going low, or he's going to have to go low when Greg Wyszynski's going high. He's got to switch it up here in order to get a little bit closer to him to have an opportunity to pass.
Looks like Johnson might have scraped the wall the smallest bit there up turn 2. Got a bit unsettled, but he's still looking really strong here. Really dived it up there into turn 3, but overdrove the corner, so wasn't able to get nearly as big of a momentum drive off the corner. So that is going to mean that Wyszynski now has a little bit more breathing room behind him.
Yeah, these drivers, this is not simply a track where you just can push on the gas pedal. There's some braking going on in these corners, and they've got to brake early in order to plant that front end and maybe trail brake a little bit in the corners here in order to make the turn successfully. The drive off the corner is what's going to hurt them there. They can get, you'll see some drivers get really loose on the rear end of this on the drive off the corner here. As laps turn here, probably in about lap 40, we're going to start seeing rear ends getting a little bit squirrely and breaking loose on them. So they've got to really be very cautious. Some drivers will say it's like having an egg underneath your gas pedal and you don't want to crush that egg. So you really got to be gentle with that gas pedal.
It looks like Johnson starts to close in big time here with Wyszynski, but just loses all of the momentum on the exit of the corner. So I don't know if he's struggled with dirty air there or has just burned all his tires up on the exit, but it seems like the two cars in front of him have much better machinery on the exit of the corner, and Johnson seems to be much better on the entry of the corner. You see as well, Johnson now picking the high line, trying to dime it off the corners, it looks like. Maybe he's just overdriving it. I don't know, but whatever Johnson's doing, I don't think it's quite working for him here.
No, he's probably doing what I suggested. He's trying to find a different groove than Greg Wyszynski's running to try to escape that dirty air scenario. Right now, he's being held in a pocket, and it keeps his car behind him. And that's exactly what you're seeing between second place Kenny Powell and third place Greg Wyszynski. You watch, Greg is just running the same line exactly as Kenny Powell's running, and that's not going to give him the ability to get past him.
It's definitely tough, as it now looks as though Johnson is trying to bend the laws of space and time as we know it in an effort to get by Wyszynski. I guess that's one way to open up another groove on the racetrack. That two car might have to watch his back, though, or he's going to get torpedoed out of nowhere by a suddenly appearing 48 car returning from the nano realm, I think we could call it.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's glitching a little bit here. I'm having the same issue. I'm trying to watch him, and I keep on getting a glitch.
Why don't we take a run down here through the running order so far here, Al? We got Clayton Hoffman still doing a fantastic job running up there in the first position, 6.3 seconds ahead of the second place runner of Kenny Powell. Powell has also been holding station so far in his own little battle here with Greg Wyszynski. He's never been able to break away. The gap has always been sitting between half a second and just up to a second. Greg Wyszynski is the last of the cars that has not really moved at all from where they started today. He's still sitting in third place from where he started. Then, of course, Al, the big mover comes from Chris Johnson just behind him.
Yeah, Chris Johnson's having a little bit of issues there. He keeps on glitching, so I don't know what's that, why he keeps blinking on and off like that. That's odd.
So a good old 8 car is still running very strong out here in the field, Al. I think it's worth noting, you know, usually in a lot of series, you'd see the first caution come out right about now as we wait for people to kind of get this all sorted in. In fact, when we went to Martinsville, I don't think we made it like 10, 20 laps before we got our first caution of the day there. So just goes to show you how different these short tracks drive from one another. I mean, this track does share quite a few characteristics with Martinsville, the primary one being it do be short, but I think it's worth knowing how much more different the track races. It does almost race like a speedway in many regards. Second and third are still running strong together. Why don't we watch the battle here for the second position here. Second ride on board, it's Chris Johnson here, and we'll step away from the mics here. We'll give it some good old crank it up. 1 quarter of the race distance complete here, Al. 50 down, 150 more to go, and still running completely green here for the GTEYE 200. Take another run down.
We're on a break there, Nolan. I watched Josh Shafman in that 50 machine, and he is being pretty consistent. It doesn't look like he's closing in, but he is closing in on Chris Johnson. So maybe he was on tire preservation and just letting Chris Johnson use the machine up. The same as with the number 7 of Wayne Grossi. He's not too far behind him either. He's like a half a second behind the 50 car of Josh Shafman. So those guys might have been on tire preservation. Further back in the field, we have the 44 and the 83. We have the 44 of Randy Drumhiller, and the last car on the lead lap presently is Craig Johnson, who has 2 weeks ago was won. And I think Craig also took a second or a third last week. I mean, he has been a dominating machine at these tracks, but we're just not seeing it this week. This track is a little bit warmer than typical. I mean, we're talking about a track that right now presently is about 95 degrees. During practice, it was a little over 100, so this track has cooled down quite a bit. And cool down is going to bring a little bit looser of a race car, and they've got 54 laps on these cars, so the excitement should start picking up any time now. These guys will start getting really loose.
Now here comes the other big question here, Al. Pit strategies. We know that it might not play a big factor in the race with the lead, as Hoffman's continued to extend that up to 8.4 seconds now. But for these individual battles here, in particular that battle for second place between Powell and Wachinski, how do you want to play the pit strategy? Do you go for the undercut, or do you try to stretch it out?
If I am the back of the field, preserving my tires and saving my fuel, I'm probably not going to come in until about 120. I think they can go that far on this pit strategy here. Some of the leaders, like if I'm Clayton Hoffman, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to go green. I've already got myself a 8.5 second gap between second place. I may come in and I may pit like about 75 even, just to have some fresh tires, because I'm going to be 2 seconds faster than second or the leader at that time, and I can get my lead back and be on much faster tires and maybe even extend my gap to the lead. I mean, it's 8.5 seconds, but I think I would come in and grab some tires.
Well, if this one's completely out green to the end, I think the optimal strategy here would be to just go half and half. I mean, if you can make it halfway, why bother stretching the ending out further than that? Hit it about lap 100 or somewhere around there, and then run that out to the end of the race. If it's going to run completely green, you may as well try to just split it 50-50, so that way, you're not over-damaging your car, over-driving your car in the later runs when you really don't need to, because at that point, you're just costing yourself time.
Well, if you're Clayton Hoffman up there in the lead, that may be a strategy that he's thinking of. But if I'm further back in the field here, I'm thinking to myself, in order for me to gain any kind of speed, I'm running now 23 second laps when originally I was running 21s. I'm 2 seconds slower on these worn out tires. I may come in at 75 and get my 2 seconds back and just try to come through the field and not only get my lap back, but try to get a little bit further up. Yeah, that 50 machine, Josh Schaffner, is he's consistent. He's staying about 1.3 seconds behind the 48 machine, so he's not losing any time. So either Chris Johnson in that 48 is slowing up, which it doesn't look like to me, or Josh Schaffner is coming.
Let's take a quick of a look at, here actually at the official point standings for the Cup Series here in season number 2 of 2021 here. You got Brian Johnson, who, like we said earlier, is at the top of the point standings, but just by 5 points. And considering he's not here, he's going to tumble like a rock. Clayton Hoffman is sitting second, so he's in a perfect position right now to take the points lead away. Hoffman has also led the most laps so far of the season at 278 over Brian Johnson's 128. Craig Johnson is sitting third, just 2 points behind Hoffman. 2 points behind Craig Johnson is Wayne Grossi. In that number 7 car, he's got 4 starts of the season so far, and he is currently sitting in the 4th place with 155 points total. 1 point behind Grossi, Chris Johnson, 154 points to the 48 car's name. Then, of course, comes Greg Wachinski in the 151. Kenny Powell sits in 7th place with 149. Paul Olsen in 8th with Randy Drumhiller in the 9th position, and then Gil Gawk, a driver who has not taken all of the starts so far in the race, rounds out the top 10. There are only 4 of the drivers on the point standing so far. Those are Jeff Shutt, Chris Avera, Matthew Cisna, and Eric Kling. I tell you what, though, Al, it is still very, very close for the point standings all the way throughout the field.
Yeah, it's getting even closer here. Let's take a peek at Josh Shafman. Last time by, he was faster than the leader, and he has closed that gap. It was 1.6 seconds to 4th place Chris Johnson. It's now less than a second. So Josh Schaffner might have a long-run car. This would be a car I would expect to stay out a lot longer than the cars in front of him, because it looks like his car is getting even better the longer he drives.
Whoa, look up front. Chris Johnson way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. I think he's trying to open up that top lane in 4s. Of course, there is the unique factor about this track, and you figured this out, Al, in practice. If you run around the wall, you can actually find yourself running some pretty wild laps here. So you find yourself a sub 20-second lap, which is just unheard of. Of course, it does do a number, though, on the right side of your car as well.
I was just playing around in practice and decided I'm going to ride the wall all the way around this track. And I ended up turning a 19.8 as a lap time, which is about 2.5 seconds faster than what these guys are running. I did scrape the wall quite a bit, but it was extremely fast. So I'm surprised the damage model is on here. So it probably, in the long run, it would take an effect on your car. But in the short run, it was extremely fast. I don't think any of these guys are going to do that, but I do think Josh Schaffner really doesn't have to do it. I really think that 50 car has a long run car. Does he have enough time to get up to the leader at 8.5 seconds between him and the leader? I'm going to say no. However, I do believe he's going to take away 4th place from Chris Johnson in that 48 machine before too long.
Oh, watch out, Chris. He is way up the track, almost at the wall in turn 1. So I don't know what Chris Johnson's doing at the moment. I don't know if he's trying to open up a top lane here, but he is so much further up and out of the groove than everybody else on the track is. It's a bit worrying almost, because I'm feeling like any second we're going to find him in the wall.
Well, I told you earlier on, if you can find some kind of a groove or lay some rubber down in that high line, that is where the speed is at. As we watched Kenny Powell earlier on in this race, he rode the high line, and his drive off was extremely fast. And I think that's what Chris is trying to do now. Is Greg Wyszynski's also moving up now, so everybody's kind of moving up to that high line to try to find the speed.
It seems like Chris is the only one that's really moving up to the outside. Everybody else is pretty much just sticking to the bottom. But unfortunately for Chris, it isn't working for him. Josh Schaffner is continuing to close in lap after lap, and the gap is continuing to diminish. We could very well see a swap in positions here between the 48 and the 50 here in just a few laps.
Well, if Chris can keep doing it, his drive off, drive off in front of the 50, he just leaves him. So it's faster to do it looks like he's diamond shaping the corners there. And right now, he's stopped doing that because he must be looking in his rearview mirror and seeing that 50 behind him. But if he would have kept doing that, he's going to save his tires, because the drivers that run that middle to low line are using up more tires than a driver that's going to ride that middle to high line.
Whoa, Greg Wyszynski just up front got really loose off of turn 4, and he's now going to let Chris Johnson through around the outside line. So a swap has been made for the 2nd and 3rd positions, and this has also allowed Schaffner to really close on in, but it looks like that was the first big loose moment that we've seen for any of these drivers out of the corner. Greg Wyszynski, that was not the best of moves for him, as he now has a little bit of right front, a bit of right front damage. We might have kissed the wall a little bit to cause that spin. Now Schaffner's going to go to the inside, and he'll pick up 4th.
Well, I don't think Greg's going to give it to him that easy. He is. He must have front end damage there. Yeah, he caught a little bit of that draft off that wall down the front stretch there, and it's dramatic. I mean, it will upset your car, and that's exactly what he felt. Is he caught a little bit of that wall, and it upset his car, so he had to back off of it. He'll come back up through the field as he regroups. He just had a little Code Brown moment and needs to get back under control, and he'll come back through the field because he's extremely fast.
Wachinski trying to get back at him, but no dice for that number 2 car. He might have to wait for the pit window before he can really make anything out of this one. Craig Johnson in the 83 car still running down the tail end of the field. He is about to be lapped here by Clayton Hoffman as well. The 92 car about to experience his first lap traffic of the day here on lap 78.
Yeah, that little move that Greg Wachinski put out there, that kind of exactly what Chris Johnson in the 48 machine wanted to see, because that allowed another second between him and Josh Shafman. So that kind of helped him out a little bit. Josh Shafman is still running the same line he's been running most of the race. He's not found that upper line yet and try to run that high side. He keeps running the low line in the turns and then high to the wall on the exit. And I'm thinking that's helping him from the rear end sliding out from underneath him and off the exits there. So let's just watch and see what happens on this deal. There's not really any battles. Chris Johnson's not really catching Kenny Powell. I'm thinking right now, when I look at the times, it kind of looks like Shafner's running a 23.126 last time by, and the leader's running a 23.253. So Shafner is faster. Matter of fact, everybody is faster than the leaders right now. So I don't know, besides Wayne Grossi's a little bit slower, Drumhiller is slower, Craig Johnson is a lot slower. So it kind of looks like everybody is faster than the leader right now.
What that means is, of course, that Clayton Hoffman burned his stuff up early on, and it's unfortunate for Hoffman, but I think he's got himself a big enough buffer room with 8 seconds that he'll easily be able to cover off the entirety of the field until that pit window comes along. So I don't think Hoffman really has anything to worry about at the moment.
No, he's sitting on easy street right now. Fourth place is almost 12 seconds behind him. And Josh Shafman has got a lot of grounds to move. If he was to be 10th faster, he would need another 110 laps to catch him. He's got plenty of time, but if Clayton Hoffman is consistent, then he'll never catch him. And Clayton Hoffman is everything, including consistent. So we're going to watch this battle just extend here for Clayton Hoffman.
Let's take another quick run down here. Oh, look out! Craig Johnson into the grass down on the infield, and the front straightaway this time by. So the 83 car getting a bit sideways. You might want to take another look at that one. That was a pretty good save that 83 car just made off of turn 4.
Yeah, we're watching him. He just caught a little bit of the front end.
Catch a little bit of the front end. That is all it's going to take in order to send these cars really spearing around. Looks like the back end got a bit loose there, and he just slid down, went all 4 tires into the grass for a brief moment. Luckily, though, no damage on the 83 car, so he is still going. So good job on the 83 car to keep that thing going as clean as he possibly could. Probably he did the best set of action to keep that car to the wall as he could in that situation. The closest battle on the track now is...
It's going to be the 50 of Josh Shafman and the 2 car of Greg Wachinski.
I don't know. I feel like Drumhiller and Grossi is a bit closer.
Wayne Grossi and Randy Drumhiller in that 44 machine, they're pretty close. Let's keep an eye on that and see how that pans out.
A lot of battles started to develop out here on the track.
Curiosity. Only curiosity's got me thinking. Who is thinking of pitting? It's come about that time. I mean, we're getting really close to this, and who is thinking about taking that risk? If I'm Craig Johnson, what do I have to lose? I'm going to come down and get some freshies and at least try to finish this out without spinning out.
The fuel window is an estimated about 82 laps. That obviously has not panned out quite as we expected it to, as we're now around lap 88, and nobody's showing any signs of coming into pit here anytime soon.
No, I think we're going to see about a 110. So we're about 23 laps left, and we'll start seeing these guys come in and pit because they don't want to drive an ill-handling car. If I'm Clayton Hoffman, which is now his gap between first and second has dropped to 7 seconds. So he's a second. He lost a second there. So he may want to come in and get some tires to keep his gap extended. I would do it. I mean, I don't know why Clayton Hoffman's thinking about this twice. I would probably at about lap 110, I'd be on pit road. Well, the 44 is closing extremely fast, Randy Drumhiller, on that Wayne Grossi's number 7 machine.
0.3 of a second quicker the last lap by on lap number 89. Now Grossi is under some heavy fire here from that 44 machine, and we could see another swap in position here in just a few moments if Grossi makes one more mistake.
Yeah, I think that's what Randy Drumhiller in that 44 machine is watching. I think Wayne Grossi is driving out of his rear view mirror, and this is not a track you want to do that. You just want to keep looking forward so you don't lose your groove here. And Randy's going to go to the high side here, and he's going to make it work.
Greg Wyszynski, the first driver to take you down to pit road here, Al.
Yes, I started to think that we're going to start seeing that. Still watching the battle between Wayne Grossi and Randy Drumhiller here to see how this pans out. If Randy can get on the high side, Grossi's going to try to keep him out there, because even though that's a faster way around, you can also make that driver use his tires up a lot more than he wants to, because he's going to start to get frustrated. He wants around you. So let's watch and see which lane that Drumhiller takes. His preferred line is the low line.
Let's keep with this battle here. I do want to point out that while this was going on, there was a swap in position for 4th and 3rd. Chris Johnson overshot turn 1, let Josh Schaffner get up his inside. But let's keep with this battle here, because this is where it's at the moment. Wyszynski is off and away with fresh tires. So now Wyszynski finds himself 2 laps down. If a caution comes out now, this would be detrimental here for that 2 car, and it could find himself in a very bad position if he wants to recover back up to the podium.
Well, let's see what kind of times that Craig Wyszynski's running compared to the leaders. Let's check that out right quick. He just last lap by, he turned a 22.156. And the leader's running a 23.5. So he's about a second and a half faster than the leader. So he should be able to get up here and get at least one of his 2 laps. Well, he's only 1 lap down, so he should be able to get his lap back and try to work his way through the field. And if he stays consistently about a second faster, he should be able to get up there in no time. Like 20, it's going to take him about 20 laps, and by that time, Clayton Hoffman should come on down pit road.
Drumhiller and Grossi still nice and close out there on the racetrack. It's the only battle we got on the racing surface at the moment is between those 2 drivers. Everybody else is kind of running on their lonesome. You got nobody else is within about 2 seconds of each other on the racing surface, at least when it comes to drivers on the same lap as each other. That 44 car is just not able to find a way around the 7, though.
It does appear like Kenny Powell is slowly trying to work his way up to Clayton Hoffman. He's now got that gap down to under 7 seconds. He's at a 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds basically. And here goes Greg Wyszynski to the inside of Randy Drumhiller. That is a lap down. He's going to easily get by him.
Now we just got to try to get away past Wayne Grossi as well, down into turn number 3. That looks like that's where Wyszynski's going to make his move. This could be good news for Drumhiller, though, but he cannot get there in time. Grossi closes the door before the 44 car can capitalize.
Yeah, if the 44 Randy Drumhiller is just patient, Wayne Grossi might make a mistake like we've watched some other drivers do here, and then he'll capitalize on that pass. He just needs to be patient. Put enough pressure on him to make him make a mistake.
Josh Shafman is down to pit road this time by in the number 50 car, and he is going through all the pit stalls on his way down to his box. Is there a rule about that, Al?
Well, I don't believe that it's against the rules. I mean, you see more and more drivers doing that. I don't know what's the benefit in there. If there's a way, if there's a glitch in iRacing where you can speed on pit road and not get a penalty by driving down the pit stalls, I don't know.
Well, the advantage, Al, is that it's a lot easier to position yourself for the exit of your pit stall, and it also means that you're also reducing the likelihood that you're going to slide your tires into your pit box while you're trying to turn into it while slowing down at the same time. So that's the big advantage there. It's more convenience sake than it is anything. Hoffman has just announced he will be boxed this time by, and he has just sacrificed the lead up to Kenny Powell. The 92 car takes it down to the lane.
I see the 7 of Wayne Grassi also comes on pit road.
Just about everybody looks like they're going to be coming down to the lane this time by then. Or just in the next few laps here or so.
Now, Nolan, here comes a 44 machine. Interesting. I learned early on, when I see everybody pitting like this, I used to stay out thinking that I'm going to be able to stay on the, the lead lap and be the leader and hope for a caution. I learned earlier on that them drivers, when they stop, they're going to be extremely faster, and then they can go and they can lap me, and by no time at all, they're back around me again, and I've done lost the lead.
Also coming down is Johnson and the two Johnsons, really. So that just leaves Kenny Powell now being the lone driver on the track, and he is just taking down to pit road as well. So after Powell goes through, we will have all the drivers will have made their stops, and they will be able to go green here to the end. At one point now as well, that Hoffman's actually lost the lead to Greg Wyszynski, the net race lead, that is. He's 4/10 behind the 2 car, who is right now the net race leader, because they're going to pass Kenny Powell here. So Greg Wyszynski is the official race leader at the end of that pit stall, but he is going to sacrifice the lead as Hoffman's on about 16 lap pressure tires. No way Wyszynski can fight against that for too long. I'll tell you what, here, Al, with everybody through with their pit stalls and everybody with the pit stops complete, let's take a run down here. We'll take another commercial break. We'll be right back.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
over halfway in this 200 lap race for the GTEYE 200. 5 laps remaining here on the docket for Clayton Hoffman, the current race leader out. Let's take a rundown here through the field so far. Clayton Hoffman is out there in the lead. Greg Wyszynski sits second, Shafman third. Johnson and Powell battling for fourth, Al.
Yeah, I think Greg Wyszynski made a very smart move on pitting a lot earlier than the leaders. That went and took the gap between the leader and second place from 8 seconds, cut that in half to 4 seconds. So Greg Wyszynski and Josh Shafman pitting early, that helped them a lot. We've got the fourth and fifth are back there 10 seconds behind the leaders. So they didn't benefit. Kenny Powell staying out longer than he should have. He's back 11 and a half seconds from the leader, and he was in second place. Now he's in fifth.
The biggest movers so far of the day, well, we have a tie for that position, actually. It's Chris Johnson and Josh Shafman. Both drivers have advanced 4 positions from where they started today. Johnson started 8th, he's in 4th. Shafman started 7th, he's in 3rd. The only 2 drivers that have really stayed, or that are currently running where they started, is, of course, Clayton Hoffman, who started the pole, and he's led almost every single lap since then. And surprisingly, Wayne Grossi started 6th, and he is still running 6th, but all on his lonesome back there in that bright yellow number 7 car.
Looks like that 50 car is putting a little heat on Greg Wyszynski here for second. He is definitely going to step it up here. Remember, he was a long-run car, so they both have tires. I mean, they've got about 20. Well, they got about 20 laps on those. Greg Wyszynski's actually got 30 laps on his tires.
That means that Shafman's going to have an easy pass here for second down to the turn number 3. Wyszynski moves up and potentially might let him have it here. Oh, maybe not quite. Draggers out to the start-finish line. This is one of the old battles we've really seen all day, but now Wyszynski lifts off early on 10-lap older tires. Nothing you can do about it. Shafman takes the second position. That means that Shafman is now the biggest mover in the race, up 5 from where he started today.
Yeah, we've seen this battle before between Clayton Hoffman and Josh Shafman. This has been a couple weeks, but this is exactly how they finished before, first and second. So if Shafman can keep it up and just keep the momentum he's got right now, he will have a second place finish unless Clayton Hoffman makes a huge mistake and catches a wall or spins out or gets caught up by lap traffic and loses the lead.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't actually believe Shafman is running in the normal Cup Series. I think he's one of the few drivers that is right now running in the Super Cup Series, which is running at the exact same time as all of this is kind of going on as well here. Actually, looking through it, I don't see Josh Shafman anywhere on the. Oh, there he is. I see him now. He's in the 32nd position in the Super Cup Series with 56 points. So overall, semi-decent run for Shafman. Came in late. He is not, though, on the official Cup Series standing. So I don't believe Shafman is running for points in the normal Cup Series like most of these other guys are. I think he's running in the Super Cup Series. And I'll tell you what, with almost nobody for competition, you know, you got guys that used to run, but they're not here anymore. You got guys like Blake Neer, Colton Harvey, Cisna, Davis, Gervais, Belmonte, Mullins, Love, Souza, Hill, and more. He's going to have an easy ride here to probably at least the 10th place in the Super Cup Series before too long.
Yeah, we've Road to Pro has taken away a lot of our drivers that we've had in this series before, and we are looking at changing dates to make this more interesting, so we can get a field stronger than 8 cars deep. We're used to running 20 to 25 cars week after week after week. However, the Road to Pro series that came out, iRacing kind of put a schedule conflict on us here that it's taken away a lot of our field.
And it's worth noting as well that I do believe here, Al, that the ISCA is actively recruiting at the moment, are they not?
Yes, we are definitely looking for qualified drivers to come in and run on the ISCA schedule. And we've got a lot of different things in the works to make this a more exciting race and more attendance on the track here. So stay with weeks to come. We should definitely have some updates going on that's going to make this a lot more exciting than what it is at presently.
Wyszynski, as you saw on the flyby camera, was dumped out of the second or third position. as the 48 machine of Chris Johnson managed to get past him into third and run through 3 and 4. So Wachinski's strategy of pitting early seems to have come back to bite him, because he is just continuing to tumble down the order. Now he's trying to fend off Kenny Powell in the 25 car, or the 24 car, excuse me, just behind him.
Well, I've been riding along with Josh Shafman here, and my butt kicker is going absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and take a quick break and take a commercial break, and let's tell everybody about this butt kicker, because mine is absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't race without it.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
150 down, 50 to go, 75% race distance here for the GTEYE 200 at Richmond Raceway for round number 5 of the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series Season 2 of 2021. Al, good race so far. No battles at the moment on the track, though it is worth noting that Greg Wyszynski did come down a pit and fix a little bit of damage on that machine. That puts him a couple of laps down on 9 lap, or sorry, his on tires only 9 laps old, but that's still a long way to go if he wants to pick up any kind of position at the end of this race.
Yeah, this has been quite an eventful race here. I mean, these guys have ran for about an hour here, and they've got another probably half hour left, and this race will be completed if there is no cautions. The only thing that can make this a lot more exciting is if we do get a caution and bunch this field back up. Because Josh Shafman and Chris Johnson and Kenny Powell have got some pretty fast hot rods underneath them, and Wayne Grossi, Randy Drumhiller do as well. But Randy Drumhiller is a lap down, so that would give Randy, he is the first car on the lead lap, so he would be a lucky dog contender. So we really need to have a caution right now. I mean, I don't know which one of these guys is willing to sacrifice himself, but a caution would bring this race back to life. Otherwise, right now we're basically just watching lap after lap after lap.
Well, I'd say Craig Johnson would be the best contender for it. He's 2 laps down. He's not bad with anybody. He's about a lap away yet from Greg Wyszynski, or 7 seconds at least. He's running last place, so if anybody, he'd be the one to make that sacrifice. Let's take a look here at the point standings, but this time let's swing it over to the Super Cup Series standings, if we may. Hoffman currently heads up those point standings by a significantly larger margin than with the races that we've been seeing in the Cup Series by, well, a good 40 points or so. 357 is in the lead for Hoffman. Chris Johnson in second with 315. Wyszynski third with 314. Brian Johnson in fourth with 312. Craig Johnson, the last driver in the 300-point range for the Super Cup Series. Then you have Wayne Grossi, Randy Drumhiller, Kenny Powell, Paul Olson, and Jeff Shutt rounding out the 10-car, rounding out the top 10 here of a total of 43 drivers that have set points total in the Super Cup Series since that started off about 9 weeks ago. Tell you what, though, it is a big margin here, Al. You got 42 points between Hoffman and Johnson, but then at the same time, it's only 3 points separating second through fourth. Whoa, and it looks like Craig Johnson might have had a bit of a moment there. I just saw that on a replay. He's now down to pit row, but looks like he kind of clipped the wall out of turn 2 maybe and slid down and definitely pancaked the inside wall hard with the left side of the car. Check that he did not hit the wall, but he got loose, and that was almost the first caution of the day.
Oh, we needed it. We needed it bad, Nolan, here, so we've only got like 44 laps left of this race, and if something more exciting doesn't happen with somebody losing control and clamping a wall and causing a caution, this race is going to be a walk in the park for Clayton Hoffman.
Craig Johnson has decided not to continue. He is going to put that car behind the wall, so our first retiree on lap 159, and, well, that means that we're down to a 7-horse race. Well, Al, what's your thoughts here? I mean, we're kind of looking around the order here. Wasn't the closest grouping is between second, third, and fourth, but even then, it's about a second and a half or 1.3 seconds between any one of those drivers if you look from third on up and behind.
Well, it's just nothing going on. Absolutely nothing is going on.
I don't even have anything for that. You're right. It does put it down pretty perfectly. Al, what are you doing in your car?
I'm going out.
I was gonna say you're gonna go out and race a few laps because I'm pretty sure nobody would complain. Oh, don't do it. Oh, don't. Oh, you're gonna do it. Oh my gosh. Oh, look out for Grassi as he comes and slides into Al. Oh dear. Well, I'm not sure what to tell you about that one, Al, but I'm pretty sure that will not leave Grassi in a very pleasant mood tonight. First caution on lap 167.
My car was rolling off pit road. 'Cause I'm still, when I join these races to watch, I sit in my car and watch it through my VR. And I don't know if I've never had, before my car, when it stayed running, it blew up. And for some reason, the damn thing was just rolling off pit road.
Well, that's going to bring about the entire field down to pit road there. Hoffman, the race leader, is the first one to bring him down. I believe that will mean Drumheller gets the lucky dog free pass. 32 laps remaining on the clock.
Well, I was wanting a caution, but that's not the way to bring out a caution. I can't believe that craziness. Well, we got a caution. Let's see how this thing plays out now. I feel real bad for who got into me on that. I tried to run
That would be Grassi.
and try to exit out of there, but
That'd be Grassi. He was full lock trying to keep it out and just slid into you. That sent him flying up into the outside wall.
that is extremely bad right there. Well, I apologize to Wayne Grassi. I mean, that's not a way he wants to finish his race, and I definitely did not want him to finish it like that. It was a mistake. While we wait for this this caution to get over, let's go ahead and take a commercial break.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Going to be 28 laps remaining when we take the green flag here. Clayton Hoffman and Josh Schaffner starting side by side on the front row. Then you got Chris Johnson, Kenny Powell. Craig Johnson sits in 8th. Randy Drumheller is in 5th behind Johnson. Wojcinski is in 6th. And Wayne Grassi nowhere to be found. He's taking it to the garage. We're about to go green here. Pace car pulls it down to pit road. In the hands of Hoffman, who jumps on the lap pedal. We're back underway.
Well, let's see how these drivers handle here. It looks like we've got a much better. Oh, we got a little bump and run here. Looks like Chris Johnson's going to get into. Oh, Shafman got a little bump around Chris there. These guys are really going at it right now.
Well, it is crunch time in the race now, especially on the restart. 27 laps remaining. Shafman looks to be inside here. Chris Johnson trying to get the position. Johnson gives him the space he needs down into turn number 1. Shafman continues to pin it to the bottom side. Trying to pick up the second place now. Pinches Johnson up towards the outside wall.
Like I said, that high side seems to work for some of these guys, and I don't. We watched the pit stops. Did everybody pit? And it looks like Chris Johnson is just extremely loose on that high side. Shafner is going to try to stay on the bottom, while Kenny Powell is in the catbird seat watching these guys, and he's going to kind of follow Shafner on through.
Johnson trying to pinch down to the 24 machine. That's not going to work out for him, though. If he continues to try to do that, he could find himself turned across the 21st. No! Chops him off in the run down to turn number 1, but then overdrives that opening corner. It looks like he might be trying to get the one around the outside of Shafner. No dice, though, for Chris Johnson. Kenny Powell nearly runs him over on the exit.
Boy, Clayton Hoffman is still, he's not really walking away, but he's slowly pulling away from these guys.
Battle for third, still raging. Powell side by side with Johnson into turn number 1 for the 177th time today. Shafner and Hoffman started to pull away with the gap here, but the 48 car still holding strong around the outside of Powell. But Powell's just so much bent on the brakes, slides up towards the 48 car. That's going to send Chris Johnson around. Saves it, and no caution.
Yes, the 24 had just, he pushed too much in that corner, and it just, there was no give there. So as he slid up, he slid right into Chris Johnson. That dropped Chris down to 5th, and he is fighting now with Greg Wachinski to try to take away, I believe that still is the 5th position, as he gets it cleanly. So he's moved back up into 5th, and he is 7 seconds, or 3 seconds, behind the 44 machine of Rennie Drumhiller. Clayton Hoffman is still gaining ground dramatically and pulling away from second place Josh Shafman.
Coming up to 20 laps to go this next time by, and now everything is single file out once again as it was before the first unfortunate caution of the night. Clayton Hoffman currently leads. Shafner in second, Powell third, Drumhiller fourth, Johnson fifth, Pachinski is sixth. Craig Johnson sits seventh. It surprised me to see Craig Johnson out there on the track. I genuinely thought he was going to be done for the night after he jumped out of his car when he was getting the damage fixed, but he's back in there even though he's 8 laps down. He wants to finish this thing.
Well, they're in it for points. I mean, he's got to finish up higher than somebody else just to get these points. So he's just got to get those points, get as many laps as he can. We've got 18 laps left in this thing, so these guys are going to finish this kind of ahead of schedule. Even though we had the mishap for the caution that came out, we're still going to be within an hour and a half of this race being completed.
Chris Johnson might be in trouble. He has left the server, and he has... Oh, that just now he jumped back in, so a severe spike there for Chris Johnson, who's just all over the place right now in his connection, trying to get that sorted out. Looks like it started to stabilize, which is a good thing, because I thought we were about to lose yet another driver.
Yeah, there's been some connection issues going on here all throughout this race. We had Greg Wachinski has had issues. Chris Johnson's had issues. I've been seeing blinking going on.
$15 to go. Only one caution so far in the day. The biggest mover has been Josh Shafner in that 50 car, started 7th. He is now up to 2nd. Powell started in 2nd. He's down to 3rd. Drumhiller has not moved at all from where he started. Johnson has started 8th. He's in 5th. Wojcinski third. He's now in sixth. Ray Johnson started fifth. He's in seventh, with Ring Ross started in sixth. He's down in eighth.
Yeah, I feel extremely bad on that Wayne Grossi incident there. I don't know what happened there, but it occurred. And it didn't look like it didn't hurt Clayton Hoffman at all, and everybody's kind of right where they were before that little incident happened there. Wayne Grossi was the one that got involved in that, and again, I apologize to Wayne. That was not the intent here. Why don't we go ahead and take one more quick break, Nolan, before we get to the end of this thing. We got 12 laps left, and by the time we come back, we should probably see a winner.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Under 10 laps to go. Coming to 9 to go this time by lap 192 underway here at Richmond Raceway for the GTEYE 200. A completely green race except for one incident with about 28 laps to go. Bringing out our first, so far, only caution of the night. Once again, the field is already divvied up into their splits with over 15 seconds separating first from the last car on the lead lap on the track. 2 seconds just from first to second here. We're starting to close in on this race though, Al.
Yeah, we've got a 3-second gap between every one of these drivers. So everybody's just kind of clocking laps right now and going to finish where they're finishing. I'm pretty certain of that. Nobody's going to press the envelope. We've got Clayton Hoffman in lead. Second place is Josh Shafman. He is 2.2 seconds behind the leader. Third place is the 24 of Kenny Powell. He's 4.9 seconds behind the leader. Fourth is Randy Drumhiller. He's 8 seconds behind the leader. Chris Johnson is 13 seconds behind the leader. Greg Wojcinski 16 seconds behind the leader. Craig Johnson in the 83 machine's 8 laps down. Wayne Grossi got caught up in my mishap there, and he is 24 laps down.
That's 5 to go. Sorry, my cat has decided to say a little bit of a hello to us up here in the booth, so that is quite pleasant. Those are your claws in my leg. Please remove them as soon as you must. 5 to go here in Richmond.
Yeah, unfortunately, this has been a very uneventful activity, and I've said it several times, Nolan. I kind of think we should be having a different format in these racing. I think we should have stage races, and that would bring this back out, and maybe we'll see that in the future.
Well, whatever the case, we got what we got at the moment. 3 laps to go here from Richmond, coming up to lap 198, and it's bound to be a good one. Clayton Hoffman, all he's got to do is hang on for, well, about 2 more miles here, and he'll have this one in the bag.
Yeah, he's been a dominating machine tonight. He's got a very fast out route underneath him. Kind of thought during that restart that we were going to have Josh Schaffner, Chris Johnson, Kenny Powell, Randy Drumhiller, those guys all looking like they were going to be competitive, but nobody could touch Clayton Hoffman.
Penultimate lap for Clayton Hoffman. He's just got to come around this track 2 more times here, and he will take victory here at Richmond. Might have some map traffic just on the road. He can see them up in front, but so far, nothing so far to worry about.
Yeah, he is three seconds behind Greg Wychinski in that number 2 car, so he won't pass him before he passes the start-finish line. So this race is about to be over.
Back straight over for the final time. One car slow in front. Craig Johnson has had more troubles where he body slammed the inside wall, but it will not matter. Clayton Hoffman comes off of turn 4. He will win the GTEYE 200 here at Richmond.
And we're watching the 50 car, Josh Shafman. He takes second. The third place will be Kenny Powell in the 24 machine. Fourth will be Randy Drumhiller. Fifth is Chris Johnson. Sixth, Greg Wychinski. Seventh, Craig Johnson. Eighth is Wayne Grossi. And that is going to complete our race this week. And stay tuned while we get a hold of these podium drivers of Clayton Hoffman, Josh Schaffner, and Kenny Powell. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see if we can get a hold of some of these drivers. 24 of Kenny Powell. Kenny Powell, Al Kozlowski, got a copy? Kenny, this race was pretty uneventful. We had long green flags, and unfortunately, a stupid move on my part brought a caution out. They kind of thought it was going to make it more exciting, and it made it exciting for about 3 laps. Walk us through this race, what your vision was. I see you were coming up, you were going back, you're coming up, you're going back. So you struggled with that car a lot. The low side, the high side. I don't think you could decide which lane you wanted.
And Man, the last caution that came out, man, that made fun racing with me and Chris and Josh. And sorry, I got a little into Chris. Hate it for him. I hate that situation, but and it was fun.
Well, it definitely did make it a lot more interesting for not only us watching it, but our viewers watching it. Got any sponsors you want to thank there, Kenny?
Absolutely. G&G race team, all the guys that are there with me, giving me all kinds of help, especially Clayton. I used part of his setup this week, so I appreciate it.
Well, congratulations. First time on the podium with us. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a hold of that 50 machine of Josh Shafman. Josh Shafman, you got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
How we doing, Josh? I think we were supposed to talk to you a couple different times and never get a hold of you.
Yeah, no, we're all good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine,
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Booth, you got a second place finish. Walk us through this race from your vision. It looked like you had a pretty fast hot rod there.
Yeah, overall, it was a good run. That first race there, I kind of started in the back. Actually, Chris and I both did, and we kind of methodically, I think we worked our way up to fourth or fifth there, and then just kind of paced Kenny and Greg there, and I was pretty good on the long run, and I kind of closed in and got around Greg and Chris kind of right ahead of that green flag pit stop, and I just kind of split the race in half, and I know Kenny had some trouble there, and I think Chris might have pitted a little bit later, so I got out front there and was able to pace. I was kind of riding there, and then we had the caution, and I was a little nervous about my short run car there, but Chris got around me kind of at the green flag there, and got back around, and I didn't have much for Clayton there. He had a good car and ran a great race, but it was fun to kind of see if I could pace him there. Even though we couldn't quite do it, it was a good time.
Yeah, we definitely were watching earlier on in the race and noticed that the longer you drove that car, the quicker you got. So we definitely knew you had a long run car. So I can see your worries on that short run there that we had, that last 22 laps or 24 laps that we had. But nonetheless, you still finished second.
Yeah, no, it was a good night. It was a fun race. It would have been fun to have a few more drivers out there, but no, it was still a good time.
Well, you got to spread the word. We're looking for some quality drivers. We could use about 25 more quality drivers for the next season. So that's your job now, Josh. Spread the word and let's get some good drivers in here for us.
I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it, Josh. Any sponsors you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank just all the support we get from the egg community, and GNR Farms, and Todd, Tyler, and Greg, and JMS Agronomics, Mirror Seed Solutions, SGI Egg Services, Pioneer on the hood, and just everyone that helps make this thing go around. Just want to thank all those guys, and someone will probably watching here tonight.
They certainly did you justice tonight. You did justice for them. So thanks, and welcome aboard to second place.
You bet. Thanks, Al.
Nolan, let's see if we can get a hold of that winner, that Clayton Hoffman. He may still be on the track doing burnouts.
I'm here, Al.
Clayton Hoffman, walk us. I mean, it's basically anybody that watched it knows exactly what happened here. You were the dominating force to be reckoned with tonight, and you just had a car on rails. It didn't really look like you had much struggle at all. I mean, you were riding the high side here and the low side there. You had a car that was handling everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty good, especially on the shorter runs, but I did struggle kind of towards the long run before the green flag pit stops. Somehow my car just was snapping loose on me, so I had to really back it off, and I wasn't really gaining any time away from anybody at the end of that run. I was actually losing some time, so that was weird, but got through it. Ended up having such a big lead, it didn't really matter. I could just ease into the brake, ease into the gas, and just keep trucking along.
Yeah, at one point you were almost a 9-second gap between you and second place, and I kept saying during the broadcast, that it seemed like it was shortening up, and that's exactly why. You just explained it to us. Well, congratulations on another win, Clayton. You got any sponsors you want to thank for us?
Just thank my team, G&G Racing. They always help out. We always race together, have some fun, mess around, and it's a really great environment, great group of guys to work with. Especially when it comes to making setups, running laps. I know it's not the most fun thing, but we kind of always are able to make it pretty fun.
Well, we've seen some fun activity after the checkered flag. You and a couple other drivers had a little contact on the racetrack there, so everybody was trying to have a little fun after the race.
Yeah, thankfully it's virtual racing, so hooking Greg into the wall didn't actually hurt him. It might have hurt his ego a little bit, but it didn't physically hurt him, so I think I can live with that.
Well, great win again tonight, Clayton, and I appreciate it. Nolan, you got any questions we want to ask our winner tonight?
Well, I have to say that the next race coming up here, we had a couple of short track races, but the next one up here is going to be Talladega Super Speedway. And we know just how crazy Talladega can end up being, and anything can happen there, even with a small field size. What do you think the plan is going to be coming into, well, it's going to be the last Super Speedway race of the second Cup season.
Super speedways are always kind of wild cards, so it's really just trying to keep the car clean, trying to avoid the accidents where you can, and do your best not to cause those accidents. A lot of the super speedway driving just comes down to patience and just keeping patient until the end, and then race it out for the last 5 to 10 laps.
Well, that sounds like it'll just about do it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here, Clayton. Best of luck next week.
Thank you, Nolan.
And that is going to be just about that there, Al, for tonight's race here for the GTEYE 200 at Richmond Raceway. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for tonight's presentation. We will see you all next week at Talladega.